All right, welcome to the Microsoft Software and Systems Academy information brief for March 2024. My name is Joe Wallace, along with my colleague Beth Jarvis. We'll be going through the program and then taking your questions when we're done presenting the slide deck. Here's our agenda. We're going to have a program overview, the program structure. We'll go over our technical learning paths, eligibility for the program, what the admissions process is, and then we'll speak to our overseas offerings in Asia Pacific and Europe, and then give you some other resources in regards to MSSA as well as direct hiring into Microsoft as well. So here's a program overview of MSSA. Our objective is to prepare participants for employment in the tech industry and provide employment support. So the key here is it's an employment program. So at the end of the program, our goal is to find you employment in the tech industry. We provide industry-leading IT training. We have a team as part of the military affairs, a team that takes care of our curriculum and instruction and makes sure our technology instruction is with the latest technology. While in the program, you'll have work projects as well as labs with your fellow cohort members, and also you'll have Microsoft mentorship. We have a whole mentor program, primarily of veterans, and many of the mentors are also MSSA graduates. And then you have the opportunity to obtain technology certificates as well. It's not a technology, or it's not a certificate program, but most cohort members are completing at least our foundational Azure certificate, and we'll go over that a little bit more in a future slide. And then in the job search strategies and support, we'll have delivery on interview skills, resume building, using LinkedIn and building a great profile on LinkedIn, as well as using LinkedIn for networking. We are an authorized DoD SkillBridge program. It's 17 weeks. So you have 16 weeks of technical instruction, and then 1 week dedicated to professional development, which is getting you ready for the interview and employment phase. We're currently at 15 participants per cohort, and it's fully funded and supported by Microsoft, so there's no cost to the service member or veteran for going through the program or to employer partners that hire from the program. You do focus on one particular learning path. Those three learning paths are server and cloud administration, cloud application development, and cybersecurity operations. We'll go into those in a bit more detail as well. The employment infrastructure and ongoing support, as I said, we have mentorship by Microsoft employees. Our hiring partners interview participants for roles that they have within their companies. And then our graduates engage in job search with assistance of our MSSA team. And we stay with you until you get employed, or in the future, if you're looking for employment as well. We kind of look at it as once an MSSA grad, always an MSSA grad. Here's our current numbers. So MSSA back in the fall celebrated our 10th anniversary. And so far, we've had 3,732 program graduates. We currently have 68 in class. We have a 95% graduation rate, and that small percentage don't graduate. It's typically not because you're not able to complete the technical program, but it's usually due to some personal issue that prevents them from completing the program. 95%, or I'm sorry, 97% of those are employed, and of that 97%, 91% are employed in IT. And then we've had over 1,000 plus companies hire from the program. And back into the employed piece, this does include about 12% of our graduates decide to go pursue a degree in technology. These are just a list of some of the roles that some of our folks have landed after completing MSSA. This isn't a full laundry list, but is just a good representation of some of the types of positions that we see over time, from business program manager, consultants, customer success account managers, cybersecurity engineers, and the list goes on. So a kind of a mix of customer-facing roles and then technical roles from software development to kind of architects as well. So the structure of the program, as I said, it's a full-time 17-week program. The next cycle for applicants will begin in September of 2024. Our admissions process, there's where you submit an application, required documentation, and you have to satisfy the program prerequisites. We'll go into a little more detail, all the application and prerequisite program. The orientation, you'll have an orientation prior to the first day, and then you'll work with your Microsoft Career Development Manager, who's the person that is with you throughout the whole 17 weeks. The active cohort, like I said, we're at 15 participants per cohort. Your technical instruction equals 448 hours, and then professional development is 147 hours, and then some flex time. You have an hour in the afternoon each day. It's 64 hours. And that's, like I said, when you work with your instructors or your career development manager, and administrative time each day at the end of the day. Here's kind of how the program is delivered and broken out on between the technical instruction, the professional development piece. So all the technical weeks, kind of just a typical day, it shows you it's broken up into starting at 8 a.m. in the morning and ending at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. You have that 1 hour flex time at the end of the day, and you have your technical instruction broken up by breaks and the lunch hour as well. And then that on Friday, the full day is focused on professional development. And then your week 9 is fully dedicated to professional development. So there's no technical instruction that week. You get a break from that. And there's a whole slew of activities that take place during the professional development week, engaging with your mentors. You have guest speakers, employer partners that come in and speak to the opportunities that they have within their company. So a lot of great stuff happens during that Pro Dev week to kind of prepare you for the second half of the program, and then also getting ready for the interview phase and finding employment. Beth.
Yeah, so we have, as Joe mentioned, we have 3 different technical learning paths for the program: server and cloud administration, cloud application development, and cybersecurity. You can see in that middle column there that lists kind of the courses that you will be taking for each of the learning paths. And then you will see in that far right column, those are the technical certifications that you are preparing for during the course. You will see that the certificates are not certifications are not guaranteed, as Joe already said, but the curriculum does lead to a Microsoft Associate level certification if the exam is passed. And all of the tracks do include an opportunity for the Azure Fundamental certification as well. The server and cloud administration and the cloud application development paths do not require any prior IT experience. Cybersecurity, you must have 2+ years of cybersecurity experience in order to pursue that learning path, and we'll detail that a little bit further in a coming slide. And here is that coming slide. So for the requirements for CSO applicants, you have to have 2+ years experience in all of these areas: InfoSec, Security Operations Center, Cybersecurity Operations Center, and Analyst. Additionally, if you also have experience in networking or server operating systems, that is a plus. However, that is not required, but you must have that cybersecurity experience in order to apply for this learning path. And if you have any questions about whether or not you are eligible for cybersecurity, you can reach out to our MSSA Ops team at mssaops@microsoft.com, and we'll have an upcoming slide here with that alias listed again. So next we'll talk about the eligibility for the program. For those of you who are active duty, in order to access the SkillBridge program, you have to be within 180 days of your end of service date. And that is certainly what we adhere to as well for MSSA. However, occasionally, and these are outlier situations, we have seen a couple of exceptions. The two being, one, if you are engaged in an active medical review board, as long as we got a memo or we get a memo from your command that states that you are in that status, then we will go ahead and approve you. The second is we have had occasional times, and the branches are kind of buckling down on this. We're not seeing it as much anymore. But if people are really close to that 180 days, we have seen a couple of exceptions by commands. And as long as your command blesses it, we would too. The exception being we do not want anyone to enter the program who is beyond 210 days from their end of service date, because then it can impact on the opposite end when you're looking for employment and employers don't want to wait that long for you, or they don't have requisitions that far out. So it's hard for them to make offers when your availability is that far out. The program is also open in addition to active duty transitioning service members. Our program is also open to Guard and reservists and to veterans. And I'm not sure if that applies to anyone on this particular call, but you can see what the requirements for you if that is your status as well. And again, even in this status, the program is still fully funded by Microsoft. And then let's talk a little bit about the MSSA admissions process. So the first thing is to indicate that we have a 2-week application window, and we are currently active in one right now. And it's important that during that 2 weeks, when the session goes live, if those are the cohort dates that you want, you must go ahead and fill out the form only during that 2 weeks when it goes live. And that opens at 12 noon, or actually 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that window opens, and it closes at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you're planning accordingly. Does not matter when during that 2 weeks you submit, as long as you do it when the link is live. And then another requirement for the program is to attend a virtual information session, which you are doing with us here today. We also have a recorded version of this session on our Microsoft Military Affairs YouTube channel. You are welcome to watch it there if you want a repeat of what we've covered, and or if you have friends that are also interested, they can also, that checks the block for attending the session. And then you have to choose which learning path you want. And again, you can see more information on LinkedIn. We've got all of the learning paths listed. And then you also have to do LinkedIn Learning. You have to do a certificate of completion before you are fully enrolled in the program. And so there are different ones depending on which learning path you pursue. If you go to linkedin.com/learning, and you type in MSSA, it will pull up the 3 options, and you would just click on which one, which learning path that you plan to participate in: server and cloud, cloud application developer, or cybersecurity. And then just another tip, in order to access LinkedIn Learning, you're going to need to have LinkedIn Premium, and you are eligible. Active duty service members, veterans, military spouses are all eligible for 1 year of LinkedIn Premium, so make sure you're taking advantage of that. And then we're going to have what we call a materials cutoff date. So that 2-week application window, all you need to do is fill in the form. And then by the materials cutoff date, that's when we're going to need your LinkedIn Learning certificate uploaded. We're also going to need your command authorization if you're active duty. If you're a veteran, we'll need that DD-214 from you. And all of that needs to be uploaded prior to the deadline, or what we call the materials cutoff date. And if you're not sure what you need to apply as active duty, best thing is to go to the SkillBridge site that we have listed here, and it will help you navigate what paperwork you're going to need based on your branch of service. And then again, like I said, if you're a veteran, all we're going to need from you is a copy of your DD-214. And here again, listed there are the hyperlinks that will take you to the LinkedIn Learning. And again, it's about 20 hours of coursework. Most people say it takes them about 30 to 40 hours to get through it. So make sure you're planning accordingly, because we will need that certificate of completion uploaded prior to the materials cutoff date in order for you to be eligible for application. And this is basically a busy eye chart of what we already stated. But the thing to be tracking is that 2-week application window. Make sure you're looking at the cohort dates you want to apply for, and make sure that you are getting in the queue, if you will, during that 2 weeks for your correlating cohort. And then we're going to, after that, once you start uploading your documentation, we're going to put you in touch with what we call an application manager from our team, and they're going to help walk you through the whole process. Then we're going to have that materials cutoff date, which is roughly 10 weeks prior to the cohort start date. That's when everything must be uploaded. And then if you have completed that and uploaded everything, the last step is you're going to have a 30-minute interview with 2 members of our team. And it's just to gauge kind of your passion and potential and your fit for MSSA. It is not a technical interview. And then you should know, usually about a month prior to the cohort start date, if you have been accepted into the program. A couple of application tips and FAQs that we've seen over the years. Make sure you're uploading your documentation as soon as you have it. Do not procrastinate, because if you don't get everything uploaded by that materials cutoff date, unfortunately, the process will stop for you and you will not be eligible for the program. And you will not get that interview unless everything has been uploaded. And then we've got a robust section on our landing page for Microsoft Military Affairs that has the FAQs for all MSSA. So if you have any questions at all, once you finish this brief, you can probably find the answer to those questions on our FAQ page. And then during that 2-week application window, the hardest part about it is when you fill out that form, it's going to take you about 15 minutes. But the hardest thing you're going to have to do, if you don't have it already, is to establish an Outlook account. So that's how we're going to communicate with you. So ensure that you're checking your spam and checking that Outlook account, because all of our communication to you will be going to you via that email address.
And now we'll cover our overseas offerings. We're offering MSSA in the Asia Pacific time zone. So here's some information on the upcoming cohorts for Asia Pacific region. And it's delivered in Japan Central Time. We have one server and cloud administration cohort. Again, it's just the same as the cohort schedule that we have stateside. So Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. during that Japan Central Time. It just, we're just offering it so those who are stationed overseas in the Asia Pacific region can take it within their particular time zone. It's one thing we want to point out is our overseas offerings. They're not expatriate programs, so we're not facilitating employment in those particular countries that you're living in. If you have the ability to do that, maybe your spouse is a citizen of that country where you have the work authorization, then you of course can pursue that if you'd like. But Microsoft and the military affairs team is not facilitating employment that way and going through finding work authorizations and those sorts of things for cohort members. So it's really just to allow those service members to take it within their particular time zone. The upcoming program dates for Asia Pacific. So we have November 4th, 2024 through March 11th, 2025. The application window is coming up in June. It goes from June 17th to July 1st. And it's based on the Japan Standard Time as well. The materials cutoff is August 26th. And again, the same eligibility requirements for active duty service members with that 180-day cutoff as well, and command approval and all the other prerequisites. And then the following cohort offering would be in April 7th to August 5th, 2025, with the application window opening up in November of this year till December 2nd, and everything else is all the same. Here's the eye chart again, which kind of gives you the flow of the admissions process from the application window, open for 2 weeks, verify your eligibility, and then you have to have all your materials in by the materials cutoff date about 10 weeks prior to cohort start date. And then there'll be an interview, and then we'll release those that have been accepted into the program or not about a month or so prior to cohort start date. And once you do apply in that application window, you'll be assigned an application manager from the military affairs team that'll answer all questions and help you through the process. We're also offering MSSA in Europe in Central European time. It's also a server and cloud administration learning path offering. Again, not an expatriate program, so the same thing applies to those in Europe as well. Our upcoming program dates that are set for Europe is this year, November 4th through March 11th, 2025. The application window opens up on June 17th, and it's open through July 1st. The materials cutoff is August 26th of 2024, and then all other eligibility requirements are the same. This is again the kind of the flow chart of the application process. I won't go over this again in detail as we've done it a couple times already. And then these are some follow-up resources. This kind of just gives you a look at the upcoming dates where we'll be offering our cohort. So the next offerings will begin September 16th. It'll be through January 17th, 2025. The application window will kick off next month on April 29th through May 13th. And then materials cutoff will be, I think that date may be wrong. It says February 26th. I don't think that's correct. We'll update this slide for you. And then we'll, as Beth mentioned earlier, you can always email the military affairs team with questions on anything at MSSA-Ops@Microsoft.com. And then the next Asia Pacific offering, as I mentioned in the previous slide, is November 4th, and that's through March 11th, 2025. And then in Europe, November 4th, 2024 through March 11th, the same dates as the Asia Pacific offering. Here are just some extra resources for you to look at to maybe learn a little bit more about the program and some of the individuals who have gone through it, some of their stories. There's some really good content here for you to dig into and get an idea of how MSSA has impacted the lives of fellow service members. You can always go to the Military Affairs blog to read about all the different stories on the program. Then these other videos on individuals, you can dig into those as well. A real great place to look at is in the application getting ready to apply is look at our Tech Transition Toolkit. It has a lot of great resources for you as you transition or looking for careers in technology. Career change, question you need to ask yourself. So there's all these different resources and videos that you can take a look at and view to prepare yourself for MSSA and learn a little bit about transitioning to the tech industry. If for some reason maybe you don't get into MSSA or you don't see it as a fit for you, there's other opportunities to engage with roles and positions at Microsoft. So we work closely with the Hiring Our Heroes organization. We host the fellows from their corporate fellowship program. So you can go to the hireourheroes.org website and look at what their program offers in corporate fellowships. So there's 3 cohorts a year. We typically have 20 plus fellows in each cohort. We're in the first cohort of 2024 right now. We have 22 fellows in the program. So if that's something that interests you, the application is through Hiring Our Heroes, and then we participate as an employer in a host of the fellows. The LEAP program, LEAP is an apprenticeship program here at Microsoft. It's not an ongoing program where it's not always offered, but it's offered periodically when an area of the business decides that they want to fund an apprenticeship program. But if you go to their website, the aka.ms/leap, you can see if they're currently accepting applications for an apprenticeship program. It'll say if it's not, and then if they are, it'll tell you what it's focused on. I think the last one, we had one right at the end of last year, which was for software development, and they were accepting applications. It's since closed. So just keep an eye on that particular site for any upcoming apprenticeships if that's something that interests you. Student veteran recruiting, you can go to our page. We're in student veteran careers and see how our university recruiting team engages with student veterans. And then we also have a site for cleared applications for those that have a top secret clearance and higher. Microsoft has a number of cleared opportunities where we work with the federal government and agencies that require the individuals in those roles to have clearances. And then if you look at our professionals side of the career side, that's really for just direct hiring. If you already have strong IT background and experience and want to just apply directly for roles, just look at that particular part of the career site. Here's just a number of different links to stay up to date for MSSA, aka.ms/MSSA. If you're interested in receiving this slide deck, you can email the MSSA ops at Microsoft.com. You see that email there for the team. They'll provide you the slide deck as well, so you can keep this and look through it as you need to. And then some other resources there in the area of LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. These are all our social media sites. And thank you very much.